What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about this huge Call of Duty release that isn't coming out until next year, the new COD 2.0 crossover, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because we're very close to 100,000 subscribers here on the main channel. Really appreciate it. Also, drop a like and turn notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, Warzone Mobile, and any other future Call of Duty as well. Also, be sure to check out my second channel, dkdynamite Plus, where I do post a variety of different content, whether it's podcast clips, other games like Multiverses and Halo, some COD here and there, and other big titles that are going to be coming out soon. I also got some custom zombies, and even some COD mobile covers that I do want to add to the second channel in the next couple of weeks. Any support over there is, of course, appreciated, but believe it or not, it has been a good 2.5 weeks since the COD Next event. I still can't believe that, and since then, I've had plenty of coverage here on the channel of the multiplayer, the beta, Infinity Ward responding to some of the feedback, DMZ, Spec Ops, raids, and even a rumored zombies mode. There's been a lot to talk about ever since COD Next, but there's even more that I still want to tackle, which I didn't have the chance to do until now, and I think this will blow your mind once you learn all the details about it, but don't go anywhere. Let's go and thank the sponsor of tonight's video. Now, tonight's video is sponsored by Yahaha Studio. This is a brand new user-generated creation platform for 3D multiplayer interactive experiences in games. With Yahaha, anyone can create and publish their virtual experiences without any coding or server knowledge. Now, you can also become a developer yourself, maybe create a similar game to Call of Duty. Users can build their creations without coding, just using the components and smart assets that they provide. There's a built-in asset library with millions of ready-to-use 3D assets. All assets are not stored in the download package, but in the cloud drive, and they will be real-time streamed to the local clients when users need to use them. It's also very simple to use. When users finish their work, they can easily publish their creation with just one click, which publishes the content across their cross-platform player app for mobile and PC users, where players can discover and join to play. Now, here's a showcase of the May community event winner, so you can see the types of creations that you can concoct if this sounds exciting to you. Now, also don't forget, you guys can invite your friends and hang out with them anytime, as well as meet new people in the Yahaha 3D spaces or the communities that you'll find very easily in the program itself. Now, if you want to put your own creativity in action, be sure to click on the special link in this video's description or the pinned comment and join Yahaha's early access now, and you can even participate in the community challenge for a chance to win a cash prize. But thank you to Yahaha Studio for sponsoring tonight's video. Now back to the video. Over at the COD Next event, we got our hands on Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, we got a trailer combining the two as well, which was a bit different from what we're accustomed to when it comes to major reveals. But then we also got a Warzone mobile trailer, which I really haven't had a chance to discuss, not even on the podcast yet, which we're going to get to during the next episode. But obviously in the trailer, we get a nice glimpse at Verdansk. Good old Verdansk from the Modern Warfare life cycle. It's obviously a pre-Season 5 Verdansk, where the stadium is not open, there isn't an underground train system by any means. It's plain old Verdansk like we remember from back in the day. And over at COD Next, the way it was organized was also a bit different from what you guys probably expected. So separate invites went out to mobile gamers out there that likely cover COD Mobile full time. They got separate invites because at the COD Next event, they then got their hands on Warzone Mobile after the trailer premiered, while the rest of us were still playing Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. So I guess any non-mobile gamer didn't get their hands on Warzone Mobile at the COD Next event, but not only did we get the trailer for it, but we got to see some pretty nice raw gameplay from those mobile gamers out there, which is of course all available here on YouTube, other websites out there. I'll put a couple of clips on screen so you guys can see, and I'll credit all these creators in the description, of course, but I wasn't complaining about that. We had our hands full with MWII and Warzone 2. I was totally cool with the fact that mobile gamers had a different agenda over at the COD Next event. It was really cool to see that we were all in the same space, but just playing different things. So as they wrote in a blog post about Warzone Mobile, in collaboration with Call of Duty Studios and technology teams across Activision, Warzone Mobile is being co-developed by a multi-studio mobile organization that includes teams from Activision Shanghai, Beenox, Digital Legends, and Solid State Studios. Free pre-registration is open now for Warzone Mobile on Android ahead of the anticipated worldwide release on Android and iOS mobile devices in 2023. They've obviously opened up plenty of social media pages promoting Warzone Mobile. They got like, 50K followers over on Twitter time of recording this. They got their Instagram open, and it's great to see that, but I will say this. It was a relief to hear that it isn't coming out till next year, because for some reason I had a feeling that they were going to end up dropping Warzone Mobile in like December, and I think a lot of us out there already have our hands full, especially if you're a content creator, but even if you're not, there's a lot coming out this fall. I mean, besides other major games and franchises, we have MW2 on the 20th, right, campaign early access, the full launch of MP and Spec Ops on the 28th, and then November 16th, less than a month later, Warzone 2 and DMZ. It's unclear where Raids kind of falls into that, or Season 1 entirely. I mean, there's a lot going on in a span of like a month and a half. So if Warzone Mobile came out before Christmas, that would have been a lot. It would have been a bit overwhelming, but I'm really happy that the game is scheduled for next year, because not only do I want to cover it, but I'm sure you guys out there also want to focus on it a little bit, even if you're not a mobile gamer, but you'd like to focus on that maybe during a dry period when not much is going on for MW2 or Warzone 2. We'll have to wait and see. Now, there are also plenty of free rewards that you can unlock day one in Warzone Mobile just by pre-registering. Now, I am aware that you can pre-register on Android, but I think on iOS it's a bit weird. You kind of can't, but it will be available on iOS soon, so don't worry about that one. So for 5 million pre-registrations, you get this Dark Familiar emblem and a Foes Flame vinyl, which I believe is something you can stick onto a car or something, which is different. I think it's a new form of cosmetic we're also going to see at MW2 and Warzone 2 for 10 million registrations. We have the X12 blueprint known as the Prince of Hell. And then luckily we've already hit 15 million pre-registrations that gives you an M4 blueprint known as the Arc Fiend. And it's funny, they just confirmed, I think it was like 3.5 days ago, that we did hit this, and I'm sure we'll hit 25 million registrations in the next week, maybe even sooner than that. But I think regardless, it's guaranteed that by the time Warzone Mobile comes out in early to mid 2023, who knows when that is, we're gonna have all these rewards. There's one final reward here that is redacted and looks to be an operator skin. Now, I believe it's being claimed somewhere, unless I missed some official confirmation. It's gonna be a ghost skin or something of that nature. I'm sure it'll be a skin that they'll end up posting an official image of in the next week or two, maybe a little bit after that. I could have sworn I saw an image somewhere showing what the skin is. I could be mistaken, but I'll figure that out when I'm editing this video, and I'll put something on screen so you guys can see. Now, when it comes to the early gameplay that we got from Warzone Mobile, of course, players got to play it over at the COD Next event if they were a mobile-specific content creator. But remember a couple of months ago, I've talked about this, I think, on the podcast recently. It was so weird how there was an early alpha playtest of Warzone Mobile that happened behind closed doors, and people weren't supposed to film footage of it, but did anyway. And then gameplay was all over the internet. It got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views, which obviously broke embargo, so those people probably got in trouble. But gameplay has been out there, and we got to see from that footage that there was some very new type of movement dealing with like a slide and a dolphin dive combined, which funny enough we have in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. So I like how there's a very seamless integration with the type of mechanics and movement we're going to be seeing with COD 2.0 that also impacts Warzone Mobile. Then we got gameplay, of course, at COD Next. I think what we'd all agree on is that the graphics aren't the greatest, but it is a mobile game. However, this is probably a late alpha, maybe even a beta build of Warzone Mobile that was played at COD Next, not the final build by any means. So I do believe the game will look a lot better when it does come out. But like I always warn you guys, right? It's a mobile game, and I don't expect it to look that much better than COD Mobile, but it'll probably be more on par with that game versus what we've seen over at COD Next. Now, in the blog post, they do say, mobile players, welcome to Verdansk. At launch, players will drop into legendary Verdansk on mobile for the very first time. This is the Verdansk, just like you remember, dam, TV station, lumber, farmland, a closed stadium. I like how they said closed for now, because I'm sure they'll open it up with a future update. Downtown, train station, prison. From the snow-lined ridges near the military base to the Hot Drop Superstore, get ready to fight through hallmark vistas, urban areas, open battlegrounds, and everywhere in between. They also said roll up and take off. Take the fight to your enemies on the ground or in the skies with a variety of land-based vehicles and aircraft, whether you're reaching important landmarks with haste or need some protection from enemy incursions. Buy stations confirmed. Gather cash and spend it at buy stations scattered throughout the map, enhancing your armaments with field upgrades, kill streaks, revive tokens, loadouts, and help turn the tide in battle. Also contracts, they are confirmed. Take on contracts located throughout Verdansk. These optional mini missions enable you to obtain rare loot, in-match cash, XP, weapon XP, and help you gain the upper hand on the competition. There's also the Gulag again. Face off in a 1v1 winner-takes-all classic gunfight and earn a second chance at survival. If you're eliminated in Verdansk, take down a foe in the Gulag, win and redeploy back into the match. Now, I think this will be close to a 1-to-1 of original Warzone, but I would not be surprised if some mini features, a couple of contracts, a couple of buy station options, and even Easter eggs aren't available day one in Warzone Mobile. It'd be great if we saw that, but I couldn't guarantee that we'll see Bunker 11 again or any other Easter eggs that we saw in Verdansk over the course of its life cycle. But what I would expect is over the course of Warzone Mobile's life, and while Verdansk still gets updates, we'll end up seeing a lot of the updates that they did introduce throughout the MW life cycle when that game was in its prime. You might see some of those transferred over into Warzone Mobile by popular request. And then they'll even do new things as well that we didn't get to see in the original Verdansk, which will have people saying, oh, they should have added this in the original Warzone. I'm sure we'll end up seeing that, but again, this is going to be the biggest opportunity for Verdansk fans because it'll be the most accessible Verdansk ever. More people out there in the world have a phone than a game console, obviously, or even a PC. PC, so the most amount of people possible will be playing Verdansk if they're a fan of the map. Now, the official Warzone mobile page did confirm today that there can be up to 120 live players in a single match with 0 bots. Some bots may exist for the sake of optimal matchmaking times, but matches will prioritize being filled with real players. Plenty of other details to come. So, great communication from the Warzone mobile team, which I'm a huge fan of. And again, to just reiterate this for you guys so you're aware, the game will prioritize having 120 live players, real human beings. But if for some reason there's some trouble with finding real human beings to join your lobby, to ensure you're not waiting 10-15 minutes to start a match, it'll throw in a couple of bots to make sure you're filled to 120. What I don't know though is if, let's say halfway through the game, a couple of people back out before the second circle even closes, or a couple of people lag out of the game or something crashes, I don't know if it'll then autofill the rest of the lobby with bots or just a couple. I wonder how that'll work, or if bots will only be thrown in at the beginning of a match if there aren't enough people to hit that 120 player count. That's what I'm wondering about, but they'll probably reiterate this a little bit better in the next couple of months. Now, here's the big thing, which I do believe will change Call of Duty forever. This was rumored before the COD Next event. I actually made a video in the hotel room while I was over at COD Next about this very rumor, and luckily just a day later, it got confirmed over at the panel. So as they said, with unified Call of Duty technology, players can expect a variety of innovations, new features, and deep connectivity when Warzone Mobile launches worldwide next year. Here's some initial intel on how this will work. Deeply connected weapons and operators. Warzone Mobile was loaded up with many of the same weapons and operators coming in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0 for console and PC. It'll be one shared experience. With cross progression, players can advance the Battle Pass and more across Warzone Mobile, Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone 2.0. That is huge news, and when it was rumored I was saying this was huge news, but now that it's official, I almost can't wrap my mind around it. So the fact they said advance the Battle Pass and more, I wonder what they mean by and more. What else can you level up aside from just the Battle Pass? That's going to be crazy, and I think the blog post actually answers that question, but I just hope that it's fair across each mode and not something where if you don't play Warzone Mobile or let's say Warzone, you're at a disadvantage by trying to level up your Battle Pass in Modern Warfare 2. I would hope that the XP progression and the rates are the same or almost the same across each of these games so that you're not really punished for playing one over the other. I'm sure that's probably a balance they're looking for, but you know, I could already see something happening a couple of months from now where someone's like, hey, want to level up your Season 3 Battle Pass in under a day? Do this in Warzone Mobile. You don't have to even touch MW2 or Warzone 2. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but this is insane. I mean, this explains how this won't kill COD Mobile, because COD Mobile has its own thing going on with their own battle passes, roadmaps, updates. That's not going anywhere. They're not touching that. Warzone Mobile is interconnected with COD 2.0, which is MW2 and Warzone 2, but they also said, here's an example unlock. Unlock a new weapon while playing MW2 or Warzone 2 on console or PC, then access it on your mobile device in Warzone Mobile. So Warzone Mobile will share the same weapons as MW2 and Warzone 2. It's unclear if they'll be exclusive weapons that you can just get in Warzone Mobile, but that's really interesting now. Another example they gave, unlock an operator in Warzone Mobile and take them with you when playing Modern Warfare 2 or Warzone 2. So that's another thing too, not being punished for playing certain things, that is insane. And I'm not saying that I wasn't a fan of the system we had a couple years ago where if you played BO3 or BO4, you had separate ranks across your different modes, and certain modes would kind of reward you better than others when it came to Battle Pass progression. I mean, BO3, we'll leave that there because that's kind of its own beast, but BO4, for example, Battle Pass progression rate was pretty rough across some of the modes. You almost had no incentive to play zombies to even try to level up your pass. But look at Cold War, right? That interconnection with your rank, being able to level up pretty damn well no matter what mode you played, and that also didn't really impact your Battle Pass progression either. You know, it was fairly equal across the modes, which I like, but this is going even beyond that and integrating mobile progression as well, which is fantastic. But lastly, they also said enhanced social innovations. Friends lists and chat channels are also shared across Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and more, so you can stay in touch with your friends no matter where they choose to play. And this is also good because I love the new social space they've introduced with MW2 and Warzone 2. The UI could use some improvement, but it's worth pointing out a designer of the Hulu application works over at Activision now, and that explains why the new COD 2.0 UI is similar to that of Hulu or Disney Plus and what's been rumored for the last year. It's like this hub where you can see your apps laid out via boxes, and it's just the UI you'd expect from like a television app or a streaming service, but COD is probably eventually going to adopt a streaming service of some sort, or like a live service subscription, if I want to be honest with you. That's kind of what I'm guessing right now, based on the trajectory it looks like we're on with COD 2.0. But improving the Activision ID system and seeing what your friends are doing, and hopefully coming out with a headquarters-like social space eventually through that, would be great. But I think we're on trajectory to have a much refined and improved system compared to what we've been using for the past couple of years with the Warzone integrations. Now here's the thing, right? Verdansk will very likely not be the only map we get in Warzone Mobile. I would not be shocked at all if at least Rebirth or Fortune's Keep also get added into Warzone Mobile eventually via some big update. And that's the thing, right? Roadmaps that we end up getting for MWII and Warzone 2 seasons will likely also include plenty of mention of Warzone Mobile, not COD Mobile, but Warzone Mobile, since they're all interconnected. And if the rumor stands that Warzone 1's app will be renamed to Warzone Caldera and Rebirth and Fortunes will be removed from that app starting in November when Warzone 2 comes out, then why not throw Rebirth and Fortunes into Warzone Mobile at least, a couple of months after Verdansk comes out in 2023? That would be a way to continue playing those maps again, since people out there will probably be upset there won't be any resurgence to play in Warzone 1, and there likely will not be any resurgence maps in Warzone 2 for quite some time either. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this huge Call of Duty release, Warzone Mobile, that isn't coming out until next year? Are you happy that it's delayed by a couple of months? What do you think should be improved about it? And also, what are your thoughts on the brand new cross progression system? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.